you so much for joining us once again on Growing Up on Death Row at 17. Got a special week coming up, Bryan, and I think we wanted to let some of the listeners know and the viewers know what's on the horizon for you.
It's a lot of things, great things going on with Growing Up on Death Row at 17. For one, on Thursday, on the 13th, I graduate from SLU University, the oldest program, basically where I learned how to speak, doing speeches, and things of this nature.
And so what else you got coming up? I know that was one of the main things. Who are you speaking in front of on Friday, the 14th?
The NDIA is called the National Defense Investigation Agency. They one of the biggest organizations in Washington, D.C. They have a company of about 100,000 people. And their ability to handpick people that they need to speak on certain areas and certain elements about prison and about what goes on in prison. And that's how I came into play. One thing I can tell you is this. I've been representing Growing Up on Death Row for over a year now since me and David started it up. And the thing of it is, my opportunities coming from Growing Up on Death Row. And it ain't about what I say. It's about the things I went through. It's about the loyalty. It's about the understanding that you give to your audience when they're listening to you speak. Families in St. Louis, I have noticed, even when I went to Ohio, even when I went to other states, they are the same problems everywhere.
Right. This is a universal issue. Yeah.
Right. This is a universal problem. And I seen more when I was in Ohio and Chicago. I seen more damage that was done to kids, man, at 13 to 14 years old, because basically they actually holding down families and households at that age because of the upbringing. And the upbringing that I had was totally different from what they got. But no matter what they're going on in their life, they still should know the truth about what goes on in the inner city and what goes on into the Department of Correction. One thing I learned over my lifespan since I was a kid, I was always told your homies got your back, your friends got your back. We're going to be there with you no matter what. That's a goddamn lie. I went to prison. I had 50 partners. I only had 2 that stayed in my corner. And they still in my corner right now to this day. So for people to think that this is something to brag on or this is something you put into the characteristics of your child, then you're not doing your job as a mother and a father. Charity starts at home. And what I mean by that is, if you got a son at home, he got 50 cousins, you go buy him a cake, and you're going to share that with your 50 cousins. Y'all all going to get the same amount. And then he'll appreciate the value of family and know it ain't about you. But you included can make a strong bond and make it a strong circle. I feel like me going to prison at 17 and being in there until I was 48, I feel it would have been wrong for me to get out of prison and not give this story to these youngsters out here, not give it to other families. Because in order for me to survive 31 years and come out with a clean bill of health and still in good health, I mean, God was in my corner. It was something that was destined for me to do. And to me, it's a testimony. And it's a testimony I'm going to give until the day I die. And David, I've been misunderstood a whole lot of times since I've been out of prison. I see things different. And I don't blame nobody for the way they think about me or how they look at me or how they see me. Because I was raised in the Department of Corrections. I was raised in prison. I grew up with death row inmates. Loyalty kept me alive in prison. That's the only reason I didn't get killed in prison. That's the only reason any man don't get killed in prison. Because they stayed true to the people they supposed to stay true to. They stayed loyal to the people they supposed to stay loyal to. So when I got out of prison after 31 years and come out here, I see that same characteristic doesn't exist within the population in the city of St. Louis. Loyalty is something that's real dangerous to them. Because if you got a wicked heart and an evil spirit, loyalty is something that's going to run your ass away. And those are things that people misunderstand about me. I don't socialize a lot. For what? So you can get a misunderstanding and start an argument, and there it is? I feel that if I can give it to you in the raw, if I can't talk to you in your face, man, I'll do it on YouTube. I'll do it on growing up on death row at 17. Because one thing about it, God helped me, man. God carried me. And the thing, even the time where I tried to commit suicide in prison, when it was so bad that I couldn't breathe, I couldn't take it. It felt like the cell was closing in on me. I came to me, it was like a breath of fresh air. And I just started imagining I was at home with my grandmother, at home with my daughter, at home with my family. You had to put yourself in a frame of mind where you had a good spot you can go to. And I used a little coping skills. But the shit that I went through in life, a lot of people have died. A lot of people have died trying to go through it and survive and come home. And I feel like I stood the test of time. And I feel like I'm worthy of having somebody in my life that's loyal. I feel like I'm worthy to come to you and speak the truth. I feel like I'm worthy to give you the understanding of my world and what I've seen out of my eyes. Because if I don't give it to you, that means I'm faking. I'm not loyal to anything. Mm-hmm. So no matter how a person treat me, I'm only going to stay one way. That's loyal to the grave.
It's the best way to be. It's the only way to be.
Yes, sir.
What do you think you'll gain from speaking to the folks on Friday?
It wasn't a thing to what I sought out and did, Dave. I never sought out to do this. People been following the podcast ever since it's been out. You know what I'm saying? And we did town hall meetings. We did a whole lot of things with advocacy groups on growing up on death row. We did with guys in prison exposing cases. And basically the concept, I believe they call for my speaking, it didn't have to come from me. And this being true with you, I don't believe it was just my speaking that brought their attention. I think it was the fact that I accept the responsibility for myself. I accept responsibility for putting myself in that situation. I accept responsibility for my mind frame and the way I see things now. I accept responsibility for myself. Did nobody damage me, Dave? My mama didn't do it. The Department of Correction didn't do it, Dave. I did it, man. My grandma told me not to get in that car. I did it anyway. So I broke my own heart. I damaged my own self. Now I got to fix myself. But at the same time, I'm not going to let that problem that I suffer from get in the way of me giving the truth to the people in the inner city, the people in the courtroom, the people, the kids that's in the juvenile system. That's a problem I got to deal with. That's something eternal. I can give speeches. I can do all of that, and I'm going to give it to them in the raw. And when I go down there, only thing I'm going to bring them is the truth. And that's all I can give them.
And that's what they
and what I'm looking to gain from it, not a damn thing. Because I'm not selling myself. I'm giving away jewels for motherfuckers to listen, and they can take it and get it to their kids. They can get it to their aunties. They can get it to their uncles. This is something I done went through that I done lived. And I feel it would have been selfish for me to get out of prison and come out here in society and don't give this warning to my cousins, my next door neighbors, kids in school just playing jump rope. These kids are innocent, man. But the terror that awaits when they get 18 and 19 years old, give them that warning. So when they see it, I remember Bryan from growing up on death row. He told us about this and blah, blah, and look, and they avoid it. Man, it's time to rewind time. It's time to catch them down, and it's time to give it to them. And the thing of it is, Dave, no matter what I do in life, man, I ain't gonna never cross nobody. I ain't gonna never snake nobody. But I'm gonna always give them the truth. And if they can't handle that, then that's a problem they need to deal with, not me.